Yes. I
Yeah.
considered repainting the van that color so it wouldn't be because it's still going to be really red on the inside. I'm like, well, maybe it wouldn't be so obvious, but whatever. So I have slides. Am I able to just share my screen or do you have to like enable that or is it a
You should be able to share your screen. I'll see if Nick. Okay.
yeah, I'll just oh, I have to give my permission. So hold on.
Beautiful. Sure, Nick.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Hi, Chelsea. My hair looks so blonde now.
Okay.
I'm here. I've just got a really bad headache because I was up so late. So I'm in bed.
I'm like chilling on the couch with Lottie. This is very. Oh, yeah. Do you guys want to see our? Hold on.
Lilith, if you knock over my crystals one more time, I'm gonna bat you in the head, cat.
Look at our beautiful sunset location by the lake.
Ooh. It's a house.
This is CVS.
Okay. I'm just trying to like make the sidebar go away. But
Nick keeps saying it looks really good.
so I think I have to be inside of Canva. So that's okay.
There you go.
Just wanna does it work? Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Okay, sweet. Easy. Okay, I got this. I got this.
Yay! I'm so excited for this.
I feel like we probably have talked about most of these things in the past, but that's okay.
Hey, there's like that thing in marketing where you have to hear something like 8 times for it to like actually. That's what I always bank on. I'm like, you may have heard this before, but I'm always like, you need to hear it multiple times.
Yeah, definitely. And I every time people talk about that, it's like 8 to 20. And the most recent one, somebody was like 27 times. I'm like, okay, that you just need to fix your messaging if it takes you 27. Like people are just paying, so shut up.
That's amazing.
As long as you get paid.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's so funny.
I don't know if anybody's going to come to this one because I feel like I'm doing Michaela's emails right now. Christy's away.
I was literally just about to say that I messaged Michaela earlier because she won that like drawing that we did this month, and she was like, "I'm gonna try to come." Obviously, like she has 2 kids, so
Yeah.
and like a newborn basically. Is it like a month now? I think it's been at least, but
6 weeks. Yeah.
6 weeks, yeah. But anyways, yeah, she was like, "Yeah, Michelle's literally doing my email marketing." I was like, "How?" That is like the funniest thing. I mean, amazing. Like, I love that everyone is like hiring each other, but that's so freaking funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm building her course or her membership and then the emails. So
Is that the she's blogging, or is that something different?
she's doing like a Pinterest VA training, like helping people pick their niche and that sort of a thing and how to use
Okay, gotcha.
Tailwind. Yeah.
That's exciting. God, I love that everyone is having like all these courses and products. You guys are gonna make me like want to create something, which is saying something.
Sweet. Well, should we go ahead then, or do we want to wait a bit more?
I typically wait until 5 after. We can go ahead and go. Michelle, or not Michelle, Nick said that the recording is going, so we'll have this for later.
Okay, cool. All right. So I picked obviously easy emails. This is more of an introductory lesson because we're going to talk about what is email marketing, the basics of a funnel, and then I've got some information on the top 5 platforms and then my personal rating out of 5. And then we'll go into why that is. Okay. So hop to the next one. Oops. So obviously, what is email marketing? Any automated or pre-scheduled emails that are sent to usually a bulk number of people. So when people refer to email marketing, you're not using Gmail. You're not using like your personal email inbox. You're using a separate platform for that. So there are lots of different ways to do email marketing. I personally specialize in like done for you service providers or coaches, consultants, course creators, digital product sales. I don't personally work with any e-commerce businesses, and more or less what you're going to hear in this training is going to transfer over to e-commerce and other places as well, but not specifically on those fronts. There are a bajillion different ways to do email marketing and so many different funnels. So it's impossible to get everybody, in one group. But whatever you take away from this training, the key and the most important thing is to be consistent. Totally up to you what that looks like. It could be once a month. It could be once a week. It could be twice monthly. It doesn't matter. Pick one that suits you and your schedule and then stick to that. Especially email, even when you don't have a sales pitch. So, what primarily I focus on with myself and my clients is the nurturing aspect. So, nurturing is a huge part of the process. And we'll go into what that means and how that looks in a little bit. But just wanted to make this very clear that you should be sending emails that do not involve any sales. And those emails are actually going to make up the bulk of your email marketing. Sales part comes a little bit later. So, what's a funnel? Simply, a funnel refers to the customer journey. So, the top of your funnel is the lead generation, and then the very bottom of your funnel includes the sales or the act of repeating sales, different products for the same people. So, there's a series of steps that your lead will go through before they arrive at your checkout or your invoice. These steps are obviously going to be really important for nurturing them and getting them ready to buy. If you just send off a random email telling them about a product you have, chances are nobody's going to buy it unless they've been warmed up and they know who you are, why they should pay attention, and what kind of authority that you have in order to be teaching on that thing. So, basics of a funnel, pretty easy. You have lead generation at the top. So whether you're doing ads, organic marketing with social media, whether you're doing pins, whether it's a simple Google search, all of that is the top of your funnel. Then the email marketing process takes over when it comes to nurturing, turning those leads into prospects. Prospects are the people who are warmed up and they're the ones actually checking out your sales page. There are some industry stats that are a little bit sad when you break down just how many leads you need in order to make a sale. Yeah. So if you think about industry average, so obviously everybody's in a slightly different niche or offering a slightly different service or offer. Your stats are going to vary a little bit, but across email marketing as a whole, we're looking at approximately 25% of people actually opening your emails. So if you have 1,000 leads coming in, 250 of them are going to open your emails. Of that 250, only approximately 2 to 3% of those people are going to click on your link and go through to your sales page. So the number goes from 1,000 to 1 very, very quickly, which is a little bit scary and intimidating. This is why people use ads. But for my role, if you just optimize a few things, you can really get that number from 250 up to say 400. And then instead of having 1 or 2 clicks on your page, you could have maybe 10. How much money can you make off of 10 clicks? Depends on your offer, of course. But if you are selling a mini course for $200 and 10 people click, let's say 8 of them convert, then you've made, I don't know, my math is terrible, $1,600 for the month, right? So this is why I say be consistent and don't get discouraged, because the largest battle, it comes during that nurturing process where people are really learning about you. And this takes time. and optimizing. Once you get some data, you have some leads coming through, you can adjust and see what works from there. And then also have other channels, like if you're talking about a product on social media and then you're combining that with an email marketing campaign, you're going to increase the rate of which people are opening your emails and clicking through and then buying on your sales page. So all of these little tiny like micro adjustments that you make contribute huge in the overall picture.
I have a
None of my
like-
clients, yeah,
Sorry, go on.
yeah.
Is the nurturing portion, is that the 25% that you were talking about that opens in the lead generation? It's just that thousands that you're sending out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, you'll get in. So the top of your funnel is people coming in. So say 1,000 people come in. If your open rate is 25%, then 250 are going to be nurtured. And then of those 250, maybe 2 or 3% of them click. Those are your prospects
And then the people that actually buy are the people that you sell to.
that are making sales.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to be sure I was on the right page.
That's okay. I'm not going off of any notes here. I realize the slide is probably a little blank.
No, you're fine. I was pretty sure that's what it was. I was just making 100% sure.
All good. So little tiny things that you do to make that 250 jump to say 400 is going to make like a huge difference, and it multiplies after that. All right. So the reality of a funnel, what you think you need. So most people come to me, they think they need a freebie, a landing page, and a sales page. Like they just have something for free and they have something to sell. And that's what they think they need. What the gurus and all the ads and all the master classes are telling you is you need this marketing campaign, you need to run ads, you need an upsell, you need all these crazy things that scare most people away. Most of the time, you don't need all that. The reality fits somewhere in the middle. You need a freebie and a lead magnet, which we'll go into next. You need an email campaign that nurtures your people and gets them to not only open, but click. And then you need copy and a sales page that gets them to buy. You can go to Erin for that because I don't do sales page copy. So getting started with the lead magnet. Lead magnets are not all created equally. And you'll hear the word lead magnet and freebie interchangeably. You can actually create a paid opt-in. These do work. What we're gonna talk about, I'm not talking about paid opt-ins. We're talking about the freebies. So you either have a blog post or some sort of guide where people are giving you their email address in exchange for the PDF. And just because you do give something to them for free doesn't mean you're going to automatically grow a list of raving fans ready to throw money at you. Freebies are tricky. You need to be careful that you're giving them just enough information to leave them wanting more, but not too much information that they get everything they need for free and never buy from you. So using a lead magnet can be a little bit tricky, but I have some tips. So what your lead magnet needs, it needs to solve a problem. Your leads are probably coming to your landing page because they're already aware that they had a problem. Maybe they typed it into Google or into Pinterest, or they found you on social media because of this problem that they had, and they're opting in because they think you might have the ticket to solving that. So problem awareness is an absolutely crucial step. So you're going to introduce that problem on your landing page, in your blog posts, in your social media, but you're going to solve the problem in your lead magnet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. The next thing lead magnet needs to do is provide value. So the more you help them, the more they're going to begin to wonder just how much value they'll get when they do pay. However, there's a caveat to this. If you try and solve everybody's problems in a 5-page PDF or 10-page PDF, they're going to feel overwhelmed. And a lot of the time, they're not even going to get to the end of your lead magnet. They're just going to exit and go, I can't deal with this, or I'm never going to solve my problem. And this happens to me all the time. I opt in for all the freebies because obviously I want to see what people are doing, and it's market research for me. And I think that I see this problem more often than any other program or any other problem, that I open the PDF expecting like a 3-page quick checklist or how-to guide, and I end up with like a 10 or 20-page PDF that just goes into so much detail that I can't even follow it. So pick one tiny portion of their problem and solve that problem, and then leave the rest for your actual paid product or for different little things that you have along the way.
I love that you're talking
Next.
about this really quick, only because I struggle a lot with like overwhelming people because I think that like that's what they want, but like the reality is it's not necessarily that they want like all of this information. They like want the information that's going to solve, like you were talking about, their very specific problem. And that's something I think that I definitely missed like in the beginning of business, was I was just like, as much information, as much value. And it's like, it's like super counterproductive. And actually like I got feedback from a client that she was like, I felt really overwhelmed with all of the information that you gave me. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's not that like you need more. It's like you need it to be like organized in a concise way. Yeah, that like you said solves their problem. So I love that.
And this transfers over as well to not just lead magnets, but your actual paid products. Anytime you're pitching to somebody, I forget this when people are inquiring about my services and I just like, blah, here's everything. And then they're like, whoa, I don't know what to pick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did it just yesterday. And then the person ghosts and you're like, well, I wonder why. It's because they just don't know what to do.
I know. You're like, look, I can help you solve all of your problems. And then you realize that like the thing that they're looking for is like just one specific thing. And you've just like laid out like a $15,000 monthly plan. And they're like, what is going on?
It's like casting a too wide net that like stuff's coming through. Like if you like narrowed it down, then it's like more specific for what you're doing. And if you cast like too much information, it's just like, it's turning people away more than you think it's bringing people in. Yeah, I get that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think also there's another underlying kind of hidden message that when you throw everything at somebody, it kind of gives this idea that maybe you're not as confident in what it is that you do. And you're just kind of like, here's everything. I hope you pick one. And obviously that's not always the case, but like that's how it can come across, especially with lead magnets.
Yeah.
The next thing that I see the most often is a lack of call to action. So your lead magnet needs to have, preferably on the last page or second to last page, what you want them to do next. You can't rely on people to just get an email from you and then open it and click through and buy. Like it just doesn't happen that way. People need to be told exactly what to do next, how to find you, where your contact page lives, or where the next sales page is, or what follows the little bit of instruction that you've given them to fix their problem. Aaron and I have talked about this before. If you don't have a call to action, just don't bother like with anything because people have to be told. My pro tip is a little bit more for advanced users, but if possible, you can use tracking links so that you know which lead magnets are bringing in the most money. So if you're using a program like Kartra, which I use, it has the ability to add tracking links built in. But even using something free like Bitly, you don't have to have a pretty URL because you're embedding that in the document. You just want to know how many people are clicking on that and then compare it to how many opt-ins you have. And if people are going through your lead magnet and then never arriving at their call to action, then we have something that we need to adjust. Or that lead magnet just isn't working. And unfortunately, you will have to just throw lead magnets away and try again. Hey, Claire.
Hi, friend.
Shall we wait a little bit or just keep going?
Oh, wait.
Can
What's
I
up?
say makes me really happy? Sorry, honestly, my illness is like, the cats just came in here and now I sound like I'm dying. The thing that you just said, I know I sound funny. Just about like the CTAs and everything. First of all, my apologies because I don't know if you've seen ClickUp already, but I went into a thing last night and there was no stopping me. I went through and building out my new freebie, obviously with the help of Michelle. I think I realized exactly what you've been saying. First of all, the information overload and just like, as you said, breaking it up with a lot of visuals. Which wait till you see the website optimization freebie now for it's beautiful. I took all of your recommendations. But in doing that, it then made me go back over my other freebies, and there was one of them where I was like, fuck, this is a bit much. And breaking it up with videos and photos and things like that. So it does kind of end up being like 10 pages long, but it's broken up and there's space in between and stuff like that. Adding new CTAs, like at the end, I literally have added in a page on all of my freebies saying like, so what do I do next? Like with 4 different options. So it's really funny that you're bringing it up this morning, and now I'm like, okay, I don't feel so bad that I like stayed up really late, because at least what I did was like what I was supposed to do.
Yeah. And I think too, a lot of people don't realize, and this is something that Chelsea and I have worked on, and I have with other people too, is that they think that their lead magnet has to have everything. But you can send somebody a simple freebie and then follow up the day or next day with another PDF. Like you don't have to give it to them all at once. You can like give it to them one day, give them a little bit more a couple days later, and kind of walk them through the process. It's a little bit trickier because, of course, you want people to open. Not everybody's going to open the next email, right? So you want to make sure that's really obvious in the lead magnet. Like, hey, tomorrow you're going to get the next part of this, which you need in order to finish doing whatever it is that you're doing in your lead magnet. So don't feel like if you want to give them all the goods, you still can. It's just the way you give them all the goods is important.
That is giving me so many ideas. Like part 1 and part 2, I'm already thinking of like how happy your email provider is going to be to see that someone has opened an email twice. Oh, this is so good. And it's like you could do like information in the first one and then like a worksheet in the next one or something. Like, oh, okay. I'm excited now. I don't even know what I would want to do a freebie on anymore, but like now I want to make one. I don't even know.
Yeah. I don't go too in depth in this training, but we can talk about it after, what different funnel ideas kind of look like for different like services versus products. I don't at the moment even have any funnels myself for products. All my funnels go towards my services. So you don't have to have a course or something that you sell in order to have a funnel. Services are probably what's going to make most of our, like in this group, most of our money. All right, so how to nurture. I talk about nurturing all the time. It is probably like my number one thing that I do with all of my clients, even my email campaigns. I am hired to write nurture campaigns more than anything else because they are super overlooked, but they are critical because nobody's going to see your sales campaign if they don't know to look for your emails, or if they don't trust you, or if all of your emails go to spam or that dreaded promotions tab, which I hate so much. It's like the bane of my existence. So in most cases, unless your leads are super hot, you'll need a series of emails to nurture them. So nurturing them is for their benefit so that they know, like, and trust you more, but it's also for your benefit. A good nurturing campaign will have the leads engaging. So you're giving them things to click on. You're asking them to reply directly to your emails. This is going to signal to the email provider, Gmail, Hotmail, whatever, that they want to hear from you. And that's how you get out of the promotions tab and into the inbox, is by having people engage. The more things that they click on, the more replies that you get is going to give you a better reputation, and you're going to get in the inbox instead. This, for me, is actually the most important part of the nurturing sequence. Yes, I want people to know, like, and trust you, but your landing page, your social media, it also does all of that. But what your landing page and your social media cannot do is tell the email provider that they want to hear from you. And the only way to do that is to get them to click on things and reply. Or whitelist, which means that they're basically adding you to their contacts list. But nobody does that. You can tell people to whitelist all you want, and you should tell people to whitelist you, but nobody's actually going to do that because it's one more step that they need to take, and we're lazy or busy. Mostly just lazy. Or we go to do it and we open our Google Chrome or whatever app, and then we're distracted by something else and we never get around to actually doing it. So it's tough. And unfortunately, not to add on to this, I sent Chelsea a big long message about it yesterday and she was like, what? iOS is changing yet again, and they're going to make it even more difficult for you to get in the inbox versus the promotions tab or even spam. So this part is critical. Oops, I keep trying to change the slide in the wrong app. No, but wait, what do I say? Obviously, I'm not going to give away all of my secrets because that would be not following my own rules on overwhelming people and giving them too much information. But if you follow this basic outline, if you track your metrics and you're open to adjustments, then you'll do just fine. So in your nurturing sequence, you want to make sure that they're hyper aware of the problem that they have. And I don't mean making them feel like shit. I don't mean pushing pain points to the point where they're like breaking down because they feel like they have no way of getting out of it. I just mean that you're aware of the problem that they have and you're making them aware that you can solve that problem, which leads us to step number 2. Pick a tiny problem, solve that problem in your lead magnet, but also solve that problem in your email marketing as well. You can bring up other small things that you didn't put in your lead magnet in order to solve the problem. My favorite way to do this is actually through blogs. So I will bring up a blog post that relates to the lead magnet and then say, hey, for more learning, you can check out this resource that I have. If you're using my earlier suggestion where you're breaking your lead magnet into 2 parts, this is where the second part of your lead magnet comes in. And then you also want to make sure that your story is clear, but it can't be all about you. You need to relate your story back to them. So I know this because I experienced it. Here's what I did to get out of it and how you can do that too. So you're always spinning it around and turning it back onto your lead. And then, of course, through all of that, you're providing value, value, value. Some marketers will tell you that if you give away too much value, then your people are going to either not respect the money that you charge, or that you're just going to build a list full of freebie takers. And I used to have that opinion. I no longer do. I think that if you give people as much as you can for free reasonably, they're going to see the value in paying for you. And I've seen that across my metrics. My clients have seen that. My own business has seen that. Has anybody else heard that before? That if you give away too much for free, people won't respect you?
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah.
Do you think it's true?
One of my lovely, well, my one business coach that was like the worst investment I ever made for myself. She used to say that, like, if you give away too much, then you've got nothing left to give. And I actually read in one of my like businessy books, I read there was like a quote in there. I'm pretty sure I green highlighted it. And it basically said that it's good because the more that you give away and the more that you share your knowledge on certain things, the more room that you then have to go and grow to learn more things and niche down even more. So then all of that information that you've just given away for free and all of that interest that you've just sparked, you then have the space to educate yourself further and then serve these people even more. That's paraphrasing. It was a nice, short, perfectly worded quote, which I can't remember right now, but that was the gist of it.
I literally got goosebumps like listening to that. Like I actually am covering goosebumps because it's so true. And I have found this for myself too. Like the more that I just give people for free, the more I learn from it, the more they learn from it. And then they're asking more intelligent questions, which pushes me to put out more intelligent or worthwhile content. So it's not just about them, it's about you too. And like you will learn so much more just by putting all that stuff out there. Again, you don't want to overwhelm them. So as long as you keep the not overwhelming part in mind, in my opinion, you can't give too much away for free. The next thing that I found from this, and this is going to relate to service providers more than just digital products, but the more you just give away an offer, the more resources you have to send to somebody who is really needy. I've had my share of clients who asked a billion questions, and I was manually answering these questions over and over again. Now I've built an entire free vault full of information that I can just send to them, and then it's easy. And they are like they're just so happy because then they have all this stuff for free. It's a value add. But really, it just saves my time.
Oh, that's actually a really interesting point, because then also they have like your vernacular for things that they didn't understand before, that they can then come back to you and be like, oh, like you mentioned this, like, can you explain that? Versus them being like, can you talk to me about like whatever, like, can you talk to me about pricing, or can you talk to me about emails? Like, they'll be like, oh, I saw that in this one post about whatever email segmentation, like, let's talk about that. Versus them being like, tell me about funnels. And then you're like, where the fuck do I even start? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Sweet. Okay, so now that you've brought that up, segmenting your audience is next. So I know this sounds really scary, and I'm trying my best to make it really simple. The basics of segmenting your audience. So some people think that it's a problem for later, and I personally disagree with that. If you set up your email marketing now, then it's going to automatically fill itself out later. Going through a huge list and trying to segment people is impossible. You're not going to manually go through 1,000 people and figure out where they came from or what they're interested in. So the easiest way to do it, and this is how I do it as well, is to just decide on your content pillars. And these are part of your branding and your overall marketing strategy. So you can talk to other people about what your content pillars should be. I have some examples on the next slide though. And then use those as a guideline for segmenting your audience. Segment using tags and lists, so you can group your leads in order of interest. So for example, if they click on a link, you can tag them as being interested in that content. And that will allow you to track engagement based on the certain content that you send them. So you'll notice maybe you have content on 3 different examples of content. If nobody's ever clicking on the third one, then you know you need to go back to the drawing board with your content pillars and readjust some of that, either the messaging or the content pillar itself. Knowing that right off the bat is going to help you so much more than going back retroactively and realizing that, oh, I've been doing email marketing for 6 months and nobody's been interested in this one little thing, but I never bothered to check. So I had no idea. You can push your content where people are, where their behavior is telling you they want more of. So for example, I work with a lot of fitness people, so I'm using a fitness coach as an example. So their content pillars are nutrition, workout tips, and mental health. Those are the 3 things that they talk about the most often, and they relate to their products: meal prep, introduction to meditation, and one-on-one personal training. It's okay if you don't have these products or services built out right now. If this is part of your 1-year plan, then you can start talking about it and you can start tracking that behavior so that when you do create the product and you're ready to launch, you have a list of people who are already interested in it. So say, for example, they've expressed interest in your nutrition-based content because they've opted in for something that was related to nutrition, and they clicked on links in your nurture sequence that were also related to nutrition. So you know that when you're doing a sales promo on your meal prep guide, you're going to send it to those people specifically. Sending sales promos to people who aren't interested in that offer is well, frankly, a waste of time. But more importantly, they're not going to open those emails. They're not going to engage in those emails. And your email is going to go right back into promotions or spam. You work hard to get out of that folder. You don't want to end up getting put back in it. So this is long-term planning. Send sales emails to people who have expressed interest in that. Nobody else. It's okay to soft sell to everybody, but you don't want to send them through a full buy my meal prep guide, 12 email long thing, and they open 0 of them. Another example could be workout tips. If they're clicking on watching all of your YouTube videos on working out, then those people are probably going to be interested in one-on-one personal training. If they've never watched a workout video of yours, they're probably not interested in your personal training. So why try and sell them on that? Do we need maybe some example from somebody else?
of someone else's content pillars.
Yeah. We can use one of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, one of mine is freelancing. So I guess like the following products in your suite. I guess SSI. If you're not a freelancer, you're not going to have any interest in the SSI. So like bringing them through a sales sequence or anything like that is going to be completely pointless.
Right. So further than that, we could probably narrow it down to, I could be wrong, beginner freelancers or beginning stage to intermediate freelancers.
Let me double check. I actually have it like written down. I just recently like went through. I think I made them more broad for a specific reason, but well, no, maybe not.
Your content pillars themselves could be more broad. Sorry, just that the behaviors that you're tracking would be a little bit more specific, probably.
Ah, okay, I see.
So you might have content on freelancing, but you have some content on how to become a freelancer, and then content on like how to organize your schedule as a freelancer, for example. Those are going to be two very separate audiences.
Oh, okay. So even like within the content pillar.
Content pillars are a good guideline, just for the sake of this training, making it really easy. But the more you can refine that, the better.
Yeah, looking back, I think I definitely I recently, so my two content pillars now are anti-hustle culture and freelance. And then like within the freelance, like writing, digital nomads, community building. Anti-hustle culture is more related to like meditation, finding freedom, mental health, stuff like that.
Nice.
So
do you have an idea or a product that suits that right now?
Not for the anti-hustle culture.
It's interesting. I know you talk about that on social media though, right?
Yeah, all the time. Basically just about how lazy I am and how I never work anymore.
No. Probably that feeds into your newsletter.
Yeah, definitely does.
Yeah. And then your newsletter just feeds into the whole nurturing and people opening. And then I think on yours you also have relevant blog posts, and occasionally you mention things you have for sale. Is that true?
Yeah, honestly, I don't like talk about my services like really at all, which is actually really funny in the emails. I did talk about SSI a lot, but I actually started to take that off because I noticed that there were a lot of people that weren't clicking on it. So I was actually like thinking about this and being like, okay, I probably want to segment more and only be sending those types of emails to the people that are on the wait list, because if you're not on the wait list, then there's like you don't want the emails. Otherwise, you would get on the wait list.
True. Yeah. And there's a few different ways. Oh, hey, Carson. Look at that big smile. Oh, he's so cute. We're just talking about segmenting. So maybe Michaela is a great example because she has people who want to use Pinterest for business. And then she has people who want to use Pinterest as a service to offer to other people. Those are two very separate audiences. She doesn't want to send emails to people who are like me. I have no interest in becoming a Pinterest VA. I don't want to learn about it. I want nothing to do with how it works. But I might be interested in how to use Pinterest for my business. So segmenting like that makes so much more sense. My computer is going to die in a minute, so hold on a sec. Ed, no, I'll grab it in a sec. The battery's out of reach. Okay, so now we have the crazy platforms. And this one I did build a little bit with Erin in mind, but also because I did really want to do some of this research. So, of course, I started at the beginning by saying email marketing is not done through your Gmail or your Hotmail or whatever email provider. You need to have an actual platform for that. Part of that is because you want to be able to track things and tag people. And the other part of that is just the legalities behind it. When people unsubscribe, you need to respect that. And platforms are going to be able to help you with that. So we're going to talk about top 5 email platforms right now. I think we should have time to get through them. So that's okay. And then you'll get a little score on my opinion on each of them. So MailChimp being the one that most people know, the one that most people go to because it's easy to use and it's free. But I give it a 1 out of 5. The reason is because you will pay the ultimate price with emails that go to junk mail or spam more often than the inbox. This is because MailChimp doesn't have a good domain reputation. So all email inboxes know where the email is coming from. They know if MailChimp is sending it versus Kartra. And they're going to automatically ding MailChimp users a little bit because MailChimp users have a reputation of not really following the laws very well. So meaning that they're sending emails to people who have already unsubscribed, or they have really high unsubscribe or spam rates, and MailChimp just doesn't do anything about that. If you're in Kartra, for example, and you have a really high spam rate, you will get a warning. If you do it again, you will get another warning. And on the third time, you will automatically be blocked and not allowed to use their platform. Just like that. Yeah. So you have the ability to appeal, so you don't have to be scared of it. And if you did it by accident, they're going to grant it back to you. But the point is that they really, really care about their reputation, and email providers know that. With MailChimp, it's the opposite. The other reason I don't love them is just because you can't do very much with the free plan. And when it comes time to pay for their other features, it actually is costing you more money than a lot of the platforms that have better reputations. So it's just really not competitive, even when you're using their paid plans. And I'll show you right now what that costs. So the free plan, you only get 2,000 contacts, okay? The Essentials plan, which gives you a little bit of that flexibility, is only $10 a month. So this one is still quite affordable, but again, you only get 500 contacts. So what happens when you grow? Everybody wants to grow. You're going to start paying more money. Well, then you may as well be in a platform that supports you a little bit better if you're paying that much money. The next one is Flowdesk. This one I'm kind of neutral on. Flowdesk has, it's really popular. They have really gorgeous email templates. They're really easy to use and figure out. But I have two kind of major complaints. First is that what I hear from people all the time is that Flowdesk emails all look kind of the same. Everybody's using the same template, so nothing's really making you stand out. Secondly, when you overly design your emails, you're actually sending an email with a super huge file size. The overall megabyte size of your email matters. When it's too big, it goes to spam just automatically. And that doesn't really matter how much your domain reputation is. When you're mass sending a huge file, email providers just automatically put it in spam. So keep it simple. If you're going to keep it simple, why use Flowdesk? Other than it's easy and it's affordable. So Flowdesk charges you $38 a month on their monthly plan, kind of no matter what. You get everything. It's unlimited. Everybody pays the same rate. So that I really do respect. That's a good price point. So that's why for me, Flowdesk gets a 3 instead of like a 2. I actually don't know, and I couldn't find, because I don't have any direct experience, what their deliverability is. My assumption is that it's pretty decent. The next one I want to talk about is MailerLite. Oh, there's a typo. I should fix that. How many of you have heard of MailerLite?
I just worked with a website client that uses it. And I'm pretty sure it was like the first time I had ever heard of it, to be honest.
MailerLite is really becoming more well known. It's actually my go-to recommendation because it's cheaper. It's actually free. The beginning plan's free. Their analytics and features way far outweigh the rest when it comes to free or even their standard plan. And you do have the ability to grow. So when you get more contacts and you're paying more money, what you're paying is still competitive compared to what you get. And as far as the industry goes, MailerLite's still pretty well respected. It's used by more serious email marketers, kind of unlike MailChimp. So your email reputation isn't going to take that huge ding. Let's see how much it costs. I can't remember. So, oops, I skipped it. Yeah, so it starts at free and then you pay based on the subscribers. On the free plan, there are some things that you can't use, like the live chat and the email templates. None of that stuff really matters when you're in your first 1,000 subscribers. Or you can pay to have $10 a month for those features. So still really affordable compared to some other ones. And I think that this one, when you're in this range, it actually breaks down to be cheaper than MailChimp. The next one is ActiveCampaign. This one's tied with MailerLite. It's a pretty robust platform. I don't usually recommend it for beginners unless you're able to really spend some time on the platform because it does a lot. You have so much flexibility. So if you're really into email marketing, you're not going to waste your time with ActiveCampaign. It's definitely worth it. But if you're still kind of treading the water and you're afraid of getting overwhelmed, then maybe ActiveCampaign isn't really right for you. But the one thing with ActiveCampaign is that the more you do, of course, the more money you're going to end up spending. So this is only for 500 leads, and their light plan starts at 200 and goes up to 210. This is Canadian dollar, but still way more expensive than MailerLite for relatively the same features.
So am I
know.
switching email marketing providers next year? Because
You can switch. $20 a month, 20 Canadian dollars a month anyway, is still pretty decent until you're at like that 500 contact mark. And then after that, it gets more expensive. My personal opinion is why spend a bunch of time learning a platform, setting all of your emails, getting everything there, only to leave it later. So, yeah.
True.
Go back. So, of course, 5 out of 5 is Kartra. I'm a Kartra expert. All my clients, with the exception of Chelsea, use Kartra, so it gets a perfect score. The reason is because it's actually very competitively priced. There's no free plan. The starter plan is a lot more, but you get everything with it. Kartra, like I said, really cares about the integrity of your list. It's going to block contacts who are known to flag emails as spam. So when you're in there, when an email goes into your database, Kartra compares it against every other Kartra user to see if other Kartra users are having good experiences with that lead. No other email platform that I'm aware of does this. It is a little bit more complicated. Oh, sorry, Erin, did you want to jump in?
I just thought that was so cool. I didn't know that you could even do that.
Yeah, so this is why Kartra's deliverability is so much higher than the other platforms, is because that's like their pride, and the main thing that they do is reach inboxes more often. And then, of course, it has the added bonus of hosting your full website. You can do the checkout, memberships. It does way more than the other platforms. If you don't need those things, you don't need Kartra unless email marketing is your bread and butter, because it is at a starter price a lot more expensive to use. So the starter price on Kartra, if you're paying monthly, is $99 a month. But you do get up to 2,500 leads. You can have a website. You can send a bunch of emails per month, and you can use all of its other features like the affiliates, the checkout, the products, the memberships, everything. So that's why I love Kartra. I don't like to bounce around. I don't like to use outside platforms. It's all in one place. It's easy. But of course, you do pay for that. Any questions on platforms? Reviewed. Awesome. Okay, so your call to action. Hopefully you've learned everything you need to know. So here's a small list of things you can do to get started. Choose a lead magnet and get promoting. Create your 3 email sequence. This is your nurture campaign to welcome those leads to your list. Tag those leads based on the link clicks to your existing content, or it's okay to link stuff from other people as well. Sharing is caring, community is good. All we really want at this stage is for them to click on things and to engage. So if they're engaging with you, as long as what the other person is offering isn't like in direct competition with you, it's okay to share other people's stuff. Embed affiliate links if you have them to start earning some passive money, as well as links to your own products. It's okay to soft sell in a nurture sequence. Like, hey, by the way, I do have this product. You're coming from a place of help and support instead of ramming a product down their throat before they're ready. And it's okay to mention the same things many times. Maybe not 27 times, but definitely 8 times. Even 15 times, I think, is okay. And then send regular emails. Decide if you're going to do it weekly or bi-weekly or even monthly. Just pick one and go with it. Change it if you need to, but just whatever suits your schedule. And you should be fine. All right, I'm at the end of my little presentation.
Amazing. Fantastic.
Who here has an email list? Erin,
I do.
Chelsea,
You are my
Michaela.
email list.
Claire, do you have an email list? Okay, so she's writing everything down because she's going to get started and get one.
Yes.
Yay. Do you have an idea for a freebie or a lead magnet or a way for people to access your list? Oh, she's disappeared.
Who are you talking to? Am I talking to me still?
Talking to you still, yeah.
Yay, perfect. I feel like I don't have a list, but like, could I turn just like people I know into a list? You know, like I was thinking people that know that work at 3D design companies that would think of me as a 3D design freelancer. So how do you get someone like not through social media onto your list? Like, do you have to email like someone that I know and be like, and make it look cute and be like, click this link to apply? But that's not technically them being on the list yet, right?
You are allowed to email them through like Gmail or your personal email inbox as many times as you want, but you're legally speaking and ethically speaking should not add them to your email platform until they've given consent.
Perfect. So my own email list. I love that. That sounds good and then how do those websites give you the ability to put someone's like name in the subject line? I hate when they do that. It's such a mind trip.
Yeah. So with Kartra, you can use the dynamic variable to put their name in the subject line. And that's like a way to get them to open, right?
Yeah.
Because it sounds more personable. Yeah, I do that all the time.
That is so funny. Yeah. So my stuff would be like, oh, was a new update to this like 3D program and now I can render in 3D. Like, would you like that service for your company type of stuff? And then I'm not sure what the lead magnets would be yet. Because I'm not doing Photoshop stuff anymore. They used to be like, here's a tutorial, but I don't think I want to do the tutorial. So I'm trying to rethink through it a little bit.
You can even ask people just to get on your newsletter. If you're gonna do something like Erin does that too, like sign up. I'm gonna send you informational emails on a insert your frequency basis. Here's how you can do that. And technically in the United States, if people they could reply to your email and say, yes, I'm in, and then you can put them in the email platform. That's okay. It's not okay when those leads are Canadian or from the EU. So this is where it gets tricky. You don't have to follow the laws in your country. You have to follow the laws in their country.
Very weird.
Yeah. So this is why I just say get them to opt in themselves, and then there's never any question. There's a record of that.
And Claire, this is something that you can do on your own website. You can just have it like at the very, usually people will put it in the footers. If you want an example, you can go to my website and see. I believe every footer on my website, there's like it's an opt-in for my newsletter. And depending on like what I'm talking about on that page, it just says like a little call to action and then it has people sign up. So it doesn't even really, you don't have to have a lead magnet. I mean, Michelle will tell you that you should. But if you don't have one yet, you can still create a sign up and basically just say like, opt into my newsletter, sign up for my newsletter to have, you said you're not doing Photoshop anymore. You said you wanted to do more experiential stuff, right?
Yeah, maybe the lead magnet would be like, was that me? Maybe the lead magnet. Can you guys hear that?
Who was that?
Is it me?
Okay, wait, is it me? Okay. All right, I don't think it's me.
Okay, am I good now?
It's you.
Yeah.
Oh no,
me.
Michelle.
Weird. Okay, anyways, I just finished up really quickly. I think that my lead magnet would be some, like, maybe that made it easier to work with me. So, like, you fill out this form that says, like, how much what your budget is and the name of your project, and then downloading that from the website could be something that I could get their email using. And then they just say that you'll also be added to my newsletter. Anyways, I'll think about that. That get some ideas going.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to use the Mailer Lite one. I think that's a good option for me. Mailer Lite. all the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Point of
Michelle
Mailer
looks
Lite is
frozen.
amazing.
I think I'm actually switching over from MailChimp to Mailer Lite. I just have to actually do it. I think it's really easy, but it's just about doing it.
Perfect.
Question, actually, Michelle. If one were to switch, like Erin's just said, she's switching from MailChimp to Mailer Lite.
Yeah.
When that happens, like, I know there's a way that you can obviously export all of your contacts. I've had to do that. Well, I had to help someone, like a friend of mine, do that before. But then do you have to, like, when you swap over, is that a sense of you bring over your contacts and then you need to, like, rebuild out all of your sequences? Or can you move actual automations over as well? You've got to rebuild everything.
You have to rebuild everything. Yeah. So that's why, like, it's not, if you're just starting out and you just want to pick MailChimp because it's free and easy, that's fine. It's just that, again, you're putting all that effort in and then you have to rebuild it. So
I think that, like, just knowing that is really good because, like, one of my website clients, she's launching at the end of this week. And I had said to her as well, like, I gave her a few options and she was like, oh, I've decided to go with MailChimp. She's like, if I want to change it down the line, I can. And I think even just knowing that and saying, like, listen, down the line, it's not going to be that easy. Get someone to, it's like me building your website on WordPress for you to be like, oh, down the line, I'll move to Squarespace or show it. Like, well, no, then you've literally just doubled up the work. And then down the line, well, I'm not on video. So, like, quote unquote, down the line, when you go to switch, it's generally going to be because you're busier, because you've got more clients, because your business is growing, and then you're going to be like, well, fuck, now I don't have time to switch. So that's, even from a website designer perspective, that's like really good information to have for me to be able to pass on to clients, because I get that, I hear that, so, oh, just for now, oh, until down the line. It's like, no.
the other thing that's really important with that is that MailChimp and a few others don't let you download the tags that go with it. So you literally have access to the person's name, their email, and I think their location. And then that's it. So all of that segmenting that you did in the background is literally, like, it's worthless.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of hard work that just disappears in the blink of a fucking eye.
Yeah, so Kartra, ActiveCampaign, and a few others, at least if you download your list, it will give you as much information as they have on that lead. So in that case, you can switch more easily. But like MailChimp, I think on the paid ones of MailChimp, they give you the lead access, but like they try to make it really hard for you not to leave, obviously, because they're only giving it to you for free so that you then pay later.
Yeah.
But it's exactly the same as building a website on WordPress and then moving to Show It or whatever. Like,
yeah.
But that's why I recommend MailerLite, because at least with MailerLite, it's free. And then as you grow, you're not going to be in this weird state of like, I can't afford it, or I'm not getting I'm not getting the value that I'm paying for. And the analytics are really good. So analytics are a whole separate training, obviously. But
So pumped about that.
Yeah.
I'm really pumped about the mailer analytics. I feel like I check the ones on MailChimp and I'm just like, okay, what? It's like only open and click through rate. Like there's got to be more.
Yeah. I mean, those are the important ones, but in the fall, when iOS changes to the next phase of what they're doing, you're not actually even going to be able to see accurate open rates anymore. They're basically hiding that from people.
But for why?
They know that I guess email marketing is still, I don't know why now, because it's not any different. Email marketing has always been email marketing. Like it's always been what pushed things. But I think maybe now, because a lot of people are moving online, so Apple just wants
in a day age where you like, so me and Kane the other day mentioned, like, we were just sitting in a room having a chat about engagement rings, like in regards to one of our friends, and my fucking Facebook and Instagram has been filled with ads on fucking engagement rings.
Yep.
And it's like, how are you gonna block email marketing and you listen to, like, my phone listen to my fucking conversation, and now all I see is these really pretty engagement rings and I just want one. I might just buy myself one, for fuck's sakes, because they're so pretty. Like, how is email marketing not okay, but you can do that? What the fuck?
Yeah.
When I was looking up like engagement rings and stuff for Aaron, it came up on our YouTube that we would watch all the time, just different engagement ring like ads, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's fine because we were like talking about it anyways. We were like talking about it, and it was like it wasn't a big deal, but I was definitely not noticing. Thank God. If I was more observant, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah, excited.
That's so funny. I had that happen once with my ex was looking at going to med school in the Caribbean, and then I was getting all these ads for doctor med schools in the Caribbean. And then he comes out one day and he's like, yeah, so I think I'm, interested in going to med school in the Caribbean. I was like, yeah, I know, I'm getting all your ads now.
Oh, that's insane. Oh, that's so insane.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah,
we're not on the same computer, but we're on the same internet.
Yeah.
Like, how is that fair?
Yeah, well, that sort of thing is becoming more. So that was iOS 14.5, was that they were going to block that, but you had the ability to opt in or not. And like 90% of people said they don't care, so they opted in. So nothing's really changing on that front. So it's possible that with iOS 15, people are just going to be like, no, I don't care. And then it'll stay the same. We won't really know till it happens. But I personally don't think that's the case. So Apple is giving people a fake email to use. So when you use that email, it just automatically kind of pushes things to spam or promotions or whatever. And then it hides the open rate like from the email provider. Like Apple won't send that open report to them.
King Apple. Dum-dums.
You know, just making it so much harder. I'm sure they're going to have like something that we're going to have to pay for down the line to get open rates or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
The Apple ship.
That's stupid.
Really, overall, it shouldn't really matter, because the real metric that matters is your click. And that they can't at the moment anyways. That they can't hide.
Cool. Well, that's good to know.
Well, maybe they'll do that next. I don't know. But it just means that segmenting your audience is even more important, because you can't rely on that open data to know who's interested in what. You really can only rely on like the clicking. So, and cleaning up your list now is also really important. So if you have an existing list and you have people who are never opening emails, never checking, just kick them off. There's no point. It's like having followers on Instagram that never look at your stuff. Like, just get rid of them, because all they're doing is dragging your engagement down.
Yeah. And not appreciating you.
Yeah. Or, I mean, also people opted in because they needed something at a certain point in their life, and life goes on. They move on from that. And like, I'm willing to set people free to the person that can help them if it's no longer me.
Yeah.
If everybody had that approach, maybe Apple wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Oh.
Not everyone is as
Ethical.
Yeah, as ethical as you, Michelle.
I know. I'm trying.
I know.
But yeah, do we have any questions? Any observations?
No.
Okay.
That was great, though.
I know, that was so great.
I just got rid of all my questions during the.
He asked them all. Yeah.
This was great. It's like officially a year since I last taught an online class, and I caught myself doing a lot of like, good job.
Aw.
Ingrained.
I thought it was really nice. I'm glad that you were our first our member training. I thought this was awesome.
Thanks. So I will be putting those slides you just saw on my website so anybody can download them. And then full transparency, it's going to be going through my funnel. But the cool part about that is you will see how my funnel works in action, and then you can basically swipe that and then just apply it to your own thing. So
Love that.
Let's see.
Can I use this video for highlights down the road
Yeah,
and like
of course.
tag you in and everything? Okay,
Yeah,
just making
but-
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
sorry that I'm doing it out of the back of a car, but
Oh no, if you give me what website and everything you want like to send them to, I could put that in the description and everything too.
Well, like her website of Michelle.
Yeah, your Michelle's, yeah, so that they can get the slides and everything too. Easier.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, you even mentioned you were DMing me the other day about using the training as a lead magnet into the SSI, which I thought was really interesting. So we should definitely talk about that too.
Yeah. So when the blog post is ready, it'll be at the bottom of a blog post. So that's another thing I recommend. If you write a blog post and you have a resource that relates to it, just put it on the blog post. You don't need a full landing page.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Wait.
You got it's in your cut.
Oh my god, I thought he was like gonna rip my scalp off or something. I was like, oh my god. I'm sorry. I cannot even see my panic. I was like,
I saw the fear in your eyes.
You had like a hand.
Leave her face alone.
put that on a
Yeah.
highlight.
holy shit. Wow, okay. I really, I need a second to like calm down. Oh man. That was too much. Well, thank you, Michelle. This was really lovely.
Thank you. I'm gonna go see if my van's ready or if we're gonna sleep in a tent tonight.
Fine.
Those actually sound like pretty good options.
Yeah, but I
Thank you.
wasn't